Beep, beep. We're alive. Okay, stop. Are you meditating?
It's always fun for the people that listen live to know how much I mess with you and how much of me messing with you that you edit out of the show.
Oh yeah, like how much? It's easier to count what I don't edit.
That's also me getting even for Ryan having a very minimally produced show while I produce a very heavily produced show.
Yeah, I don't produce anything. I cut the end, beginning and the end off, and make sure there's no curses in the between. That's about it.
I was so tempted to just lay out a string of swears.
Please don't. We've heard from people about that.
All right, let's do this. I'm ready. I got my game face on.
Hello and welcome to Handgun Radio. I'm your host, Ryan Machat from the wild woods of central Maine, and this is your home for all the news, information, and discussion in the handgunning world. This week, we talk some more firearms news and listener emails. So as always, Handgun Radio is brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network. And please check out the Patriot Patch Company for their awesome patches and other high-quality items. Visit patriotpatch.co for more information. There's actually a really cool patch of the month. It's the Ghost Gun right now, and it is a ghost holding a gun, making fun of what was it, Kevin DeLeon, whatever his name was, out in California with
yeah,
500 million rounds a minute or second ghost gun.
30 magazine clip.
Yeah, whatever nonsense he
He knew absolutely nothing about guns, but absolutely knows that we need to ban them.
Yeah, so we have that patch there, and you can go to patriotpatch.co. They have stickers, and if you are a Patch of the Month Club member, you can get the artist proof rendition on a little postcard as well. So check that out. And shop Amazon using our affiliate link, firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. And please help support Handgun Radio. Head over to firearmsradio.tv/pledge and click on HGR. There are a bunch of different pledge levels over there, and we really appreciate it. So, Weird, how you doing this week?
I am doing okay. I'm a little bit worn out. My daughter just had her 5th birthday party. Whew. This weekend's taking the starch right out of me.
Yeah, I get the worn out. I played a gig Saturday night and the gigs Sunday afternoon, so I am pretty worn out in between that and household chores and everything else.
Nice.
So yeah, any trips to the range lately?
I have not had any trips to the range. I've been like just so busy just running errands for this, and I had a ton of stuff going on with the Assorted Calibers podcast. We've got the October film tracks coming out. I'll tell people now we're doing Nosferatu, the 1922 silent movie. That was a lot of fun, putting an audio track over a silent movie, and producing the show. I've got a bunch of interviews still. A bunch of people I've met in Chicago are all like, yeah, no, I want to do an interview for your show. So I'm like, cool, lining them up. And so I just did not get a chance between the party planning and all the guests coming over to the house and doing that. Did not get a chance to get out to the range. But something that I've noticed a while back was I took my 1911 to the range and I was pulling shots with it. And I'm like, all right, what is going on? Like, this was specifically my 5-inch stainless steel with a Durr precision trigger job done to it. Greg Durr down in I think he's in southern Mass. Absolutely amazing pistol smith, and he's got an FFL, so you can ship to him. So it's one of those like, no, it might be worth your time to contact him if you want some work done on he does pistols, he does revolvers, does amazing work. Spent a lot of time doing work with M&Ps, but this thing's got an absolutely beautiful trigger on it. You were saying, I sent you a picture of it and you're like, I haven't seen that 1911. I'm like, oh yeah, no, that was the one that was tucked into my pillow when we were at the range. And yeah, I was pulling shots with that gun. I'm like, all right, there's no excuse for me to be pulling shots on this like absolutely buttery smooth trigger. And I'm like, you know what it is just in all of this like downturn of my training regiment since becoming a father, I have not done any dry firing work. And I really think that the muscles used to pull the trigger have gotten weak, and so I've started doing tons and tons of dry fire practice, and specifically actually with my new M&P 45 first gen, because it's got a absolutely terrible trigger, which number one is just it's good to get used to the break of that trigger because it's kind of spongy and vague, but also the more you pull the trigger on these things, the more they smooth out. They really do improve with trigger pulling. They don't ever get good, but they go from being horrible to just bad.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing a lot of dry fire work with this gigantic 45 of mine.
Nice. Well, I really have not done much with firearms. As the wintertime rolls around, I'll probably do a little bit more. Didn't do too many range trips this summer, unfortunately, but uh, played some gigs. And then the thing I wanted to touch on here was those unknown soldier pistols. You seen those?
Oh, they knocked my socks off.
So, Sig Sauer is presenting the guards of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier with ceremonial M17, the 320 pistols. They are not polymer framed. Originally, I was like, man, how did they get that? They're actually all metal framed pistols.
Yeah, it's an aluminum frame.
Yeah,
for the
frame
for
steel
the
slide,
blower.
little wooden inserts, and then an extended magazine.
And you know what the thing that actually really got me with these, and I kind of just wonder about this, is first up, I got the impression that Sig Sauer just made this for the old guard that guards the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, but it wasn't really a commissioned thing. It was just they got down and they really went into the lore of all that. And by the way, you want to blow like a couple hours, like go like to like the Wikipedia page for the old guard, or look up some stuff. There's a YouTube channel called Today I Found Out, and he did a like a half-hour video on just the history of the old guard that guards the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and all the requirements that a soldier must have to be the sentry to that post. And just it's absolutely just amazing. But interesting, these guns do not have the standard M17 thumb safety.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I'm wondering about that. Like, I mean, obviously, the first time a thumb safety showed up on a 320 was with the M17 trials gun.
So here it says each of the four. There's only four of the pistols that were issued. Each one of them bears a name: one silence, respect, dignity, or perseverance, and it's featured on the dust cover. Dignity and perseverance represent the Sentinel's creed, and silence and respect represent the request to the public by the Arlington National Cemetery when visiting the Tomb of the Unknown and during the changing of the guard.
By the way, have you been to the Tomb of the Unknown?
I did when I was younger.
Yeah.
The wood grips hold a special significance. In 1921, the chosen unknown was transported to the United States of America aboard the USS Olympia. The custom wood grips are made with wood from the USS Olympia and include the crest of the Third Guard Tomb of the Unknown Soldier identification badge inset in them.
And it's got on the back of the slide, the cocking serrations are XXI, which is the Roman numeral for 21. And it is 21 steps. Each sentry makes 21 steps from one end of the post to the other. And that's also to represent the 21 gun salute honor. And they've got an extended magazine, and that magazine is a 21 round magazine.
Do you see the sights or glass insert made with marble dust from the Tomb of the Unknown?
Oh man, I'm trying to think of well, this picture here that I'm looking at doesn't have the actual picture of the sights, but got a neat little a plaque too. That's I think the Roman relief that's on the face of the tomb. That's where the optic cover is.
Daniel Waters comments on the YouTube channel there. He says, fancy M17s were part of the MHS solicitation. He's going to find the number requested for us. I'm sure he'll post that in the Handgun Radio discussion group. So
okay, so the Army did request some dress pistols. But yeah, no,
I mean, those are a lot of little details that they didn't just kind of do this to do this. It seems like they really dove in on this project.
Well, they went and put an aluminum frame on a polymer frame pistol. Like that's
right.
I mean, just that alone, just it being an aluminum frame on the gun is like so much work. It's that if they're going to do that much work, they might as well keep going. And just when I first saw this, I was actually my daughter was taking a martial arts lesson, and I immediately ran to the office of the owner of the dojo because he's an NRA instructor and a bit of a gun nut. And we'll occasionally talk guns whenever I can get an excuse. And I just ran, and I'm like, oh, I got to show this to you. I got to show this to you, and uh, just was like pointing out all the stuff, and he's just like, oh wow. I'm like, yeah, like I just, people make jokes about, like, especially like, us hardcore 1911 fanatics and revolver fanatics about, how polymer guns just have no soul, and they're just lifeless tools. And to some extent, I kind of think that's true. As I love polymer guns, but polymer guns are absolutely just workhorses. And to take a just standard issue, just pretty generic polymer frame gun. I mean, the 320s, it's really cool, but it's not head and shoulders above any other, striker fired polymer frame gun. And to go to this length to make something that's this beautiful off of what is a really simple utilitarian design is amazing.
How many aluminum frame striker fired guns are there out there that you can think of? Exactly. That's kind of what I did when I posed the question. Not that I would want to see SIG release something with, because I mean, this is significant. This has its own significance, and it shouldn't be copied. That should not be issued. That should not be released for issue to the public.
Though I would say something that would say have just like standard cocking serration and just is a aluminum frame kind of dress gun version of the I mean, I don't even know if I guess you could call it the M17, but again, it doesn't have the thumb safety, so I wonder. But either way,
like that's a ceremonial gun, but I'd love to see how that would shoot. I would love to see a polymer frame 320, and then them make just a basic, no frills aluminum framed 320.
They make those. Well, I don't know if they're aluminum or stainless, but I know that there's a company that makes Glock frames that are metal. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. We talked about them in one of the episodes.
They're heavy.
We talked about them. They were at SHOT Show.
Yeah.
Or NRA show, one of the two. But anyway, I would just be interested to see that.
Yeah, I mean, short answer is I guarantee it won't shoot as nice as a polymer frame gun, because again, you don't have that flex. Is aluminum guns really do boot you around, but I mean, let's go back to the Glock. I can't even think of the name of the company that makes the metal Glock frames, and I can't even remember if it's stainless steel or aluminum that they use them for. But honestly speaking, when you look at competition shooters, if they're not shooting with a 1911, if they're shooting with a 1911, they're going, generally stainless steel, because they want the heaviest gun they've got, and they've got, stuff like tungsten guide rods and things like that in it just to weight that gun down so that they can shoot flatter. But the Glock people, they may have a little bit of weight loaded up in the front. They might do the guide rod business as well. I really haven't looked that much into super duper custom Glocks. But they've always got the polymer frame, because the polymer frame shoots like it's stainless steel, like the recoil management. Again, I think that's the key reason why my Ruger LCR is such a controllable gun, despite it being a 14-ounce 357 Magnum.
We should have had Daniel on this episode. He says, for what it's worth, Colt did an aluminum frame edition of the All-American 2000.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
So that's like when you take like baby shoes and you coat them in that gold thing, you bronze them. That's like taking a turd and bronzing it.
Yes. Well, I mean, again, Ian did a great video on the American 2000 pistol, and just the fact that, I mean, that was a Eugene Stoner design, and like,
yeah, Colt screwed it up.
Yeah, Colt just ruined it. They just went, oh, that's too hard to do, so let's do this. That's easier. But Eugene made it that way. Stop messing with God and Eugene. To quote
Do
Clint
you know how
Smith.
pissed off Eugene Stoner must have been? Like, just like throughout his life with people just screwing up stuff that he did right.
Oh yeah, I gotta wonder.
I would love to just
That's
like,
actually an interesting thing. I wonder because I think I gotta imagine. I don't know that much about Eugene Stoner. I definitely follow more John Browning, and John Browning, he really struck me as a guy that had a lot of good ideas, but just didn't care. He was selling ideas, and if someone wanted to change it around, like if you look at someone like the early 19 what became the 1911 prototypes of the original gun, it just had like a grip safety and no thumb safety, and it was designed that it was like perfectly ambidextrous because he was a left-hander and all that. And then just this thing got added, that thing got added, almost all his guns got magazine disconnects thrown in some way or another. And none of the original prototypes had them. And I think it was just, yep, nope, I got an idea. You want to buy it? Cool. It's your gun now. Not my problem.
right. I think Gene probably, Gene probably would like, I think it seems to me like he cared a lot about the designs. And I can only imagine you sit there and you watch somebody screw something up and you're like, no, come on. Like,
Well,
seriously, like, just don't, it's just leave it alone.
speaking of forgotten weapons, did you see Ian and Larry Vickers with the I think it was the H&R FNFAL,
Yes.
and they were just talking about how, in theory, if it wasn't for all the the generals pulling strings and just internal nonsense, with all that, that got the M14 chosen as the successor to the M1 Garand. The FAL could have been the gun that it was probably the winner of the gun trials, but I still got to think about the fact that, but what if they had not, Armalite had not decided to put that weird experimental aluminum barrel on the AR-10? Where would we be? Because then
That's true. But then
adopting
again,
the
like,
AR-10, and it would be heavier because of the barrel, but it would still be lighter than any of the competition because it still had aluminum lower and everybody else was still using all steel and wood. And then, but then there also wouldn't be that push for the intermediate caliber. I don't
I
know.
think if you were to ask Ian, though, I think that he would be inclined to say that the FAL is far more controllable in full auto than the AR-10 was, because he shot an early Dutch AR-10, and that thing friggin' just grayed his world
Oh
way
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah. I remember that
Whereas
video.
I've seen video of him shooting a full auto FAL, and while it wasn't pleasant, it certainly wasn't nearly as bad.
Well, also, I think it was just this weekend he released videos of him shooting a full auto M14,
Oh my
and
god.
I think that one, I think a couple of fillings might have come loose.
Yeah, that rocked his world. I saw that the minute that video came out. I woke up. It was actually this morning. It came out. I
Yeah.
woke up and I brought up my YouTube page and I said, "Oh my god!" Sarah's like, my wife goes, "What are you doing?" I need to watch this. I need to see what happens because he talked about it the day before, and I'm just like, "Oh man!" First shot's dead on target. Second shot is like 6 inches high. Third shot is an anti-aircraft shot.
It's
So
like the saying someone said about like if the sear breaks on your 1911 and it goes full auto on you on the range, the first shot's hitting the target, the second shot's hitting the ceiling, the third shot's going up your nose.
yeah, it was bad. So the drink segment, you've got some rye.
I've got some rye. Yes, I'm tired, lazy, and you were like, "Oh, I want to record a little earlier," and of course we just yacked. We're a little early,
Yeah,
but
well,
recording tonight. But yeah, I picked up. This was something I picked up a little while back in New Hampshire. Old Overholt Rye. This is the 100 proof. Um, I joked that I say my daughter pointed to the bottle and said, "Daddy, buy that one." And I said, "Well, what am I going to say?" Of course, she pointed to a whole bunch of like brightly colored, disgusting liqueurs that I went, "No, no, honey, I'm not buying that." But then she pointed to some rye, and I said, "You know what? I'm going to give that rye a shot." And it is pretty tasty. I'm still more of a bourbon guy than a rye guy, but I really am enjoying rye. I certainly enjoy rye more than I enjoy scotch. And I like scotch, but I really like rye. And this is a decent rye for a decent price.
Well, I sent you a text message earlier that I was playing at a brewing company.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Bigelow Brewing Company up here in Maine, Skowhegan, to be exact. The address, if you're ever up this way, is
Don't call it
473
Skowhegan.
Bigelow,
Call it by its proper name.
Scow Vegas.
Scow
It's not
Vegas.
really
Everyone from
proper.
Maine calls
It's
it
not
Scow
in
Vegas.
Skowhegan proper. It's fine. Anyway, it's at 473 Bigelow Hill Road. I'll probably include some pictures, or I'll post some up on the Facebook page. We're talking about it here, so people can see what it looks like. But anyway, I had never been there. A bunch of my friends play there. We played a gig there earlier this afternoon. They have a bunch of different stuff like Lying Bastard Pale Ale, 4.9%. It's an English pale ale. That was a good starting point. I had the where is it? Yeah, seasonal Witch's Tip Pumpkin Ale, which was fantastic. It kind of tasted like a pumpkin pie. They got a bunch of different stuff there. It was, I mean, it's not something you would want to drink a bunch of.
I hate pumpkin pie. I hate
Yeah.
I've never liked actual pumpkin pie. So this whole pumpkin spice thing is all like the nope, not interested.
You don't have a pair of Uggs?
No. I'm wearing some LL Bean slippers right now.
But it was good. I put a link in the show notes for you guys to check it out. If you're ever up this way, it's pretty decent. They have a nice big wood-fired pizza oven outside of the building, and the pizza was fantastic. So be sure to go check that out. So with that, we'll head into the main topic, listeners. So weird. We have a bunch of listener email. I know you love that.
I love listener email. Like that is my absolute favorite.
So yeah, I figured we would do a listener email show since it has been. Oh, Daniel's smacking you down. Weird.
Uh-oh.
John Moses Browning did not work at Springfield Armory.
I don't.
Did you say that he worked at Springfield Armory?
I don't think I did. I think I mean I was talking about Springfield, but I was also I was conflating between Eugene Stoner and Browning, but I just meant that overall Browning's views. I mean, a lot of his prototypes like weren't even complete guns. He was just like selling action designs and just letting like some of his early lever guns were just the here's how the action works and sell it to Winchester and let Winchester iron out exactly how the gun rolls off. That's all. No, I know he never worked at Springfield Armory.
Well, how about you
And
don't
neither
conflate?
did Stoner, unfortunately. He wanted
let's
to.
not be conflating here then. How's that sound?
Okay.
No, so yeah, we have
Let's not be conflating people.
We have some listener email here. The first one here is from Will. He says, love the show, the banter, the insights, and knowledge in every week's episodes. Being an Alabama football fan, I noticed today this news story about the former coach, Mike Dubose, who actually shot himself in the torso with a .38 while mowing the grass. He carries while mowing in case of snakes. This made me wonder how this could have happened, i.e. an accidental discharge of a revolver while carrying. I know you're a revolver man and regularly carry one. Any ideas about this particular case based on the limited information available and any hints for safe revolver carry? Unfortunately, I did not link the article, so let me go find that while you opine on this. Weird.
Yeah, so I think, I don't know, the best I could think of for how that might have happened is, I mean, he could have had an old .38, though I've got to say, now granted, I don't have a ton of experience with cheaper revolvers. Ryan, do you know of any like any like the Rossies or the Tauruses or even the H&Rs and or Ivor Johnsons or all that were any of those not drop safe in any recent era? I mean, a lot of the old single actions and all that weren't.
Not that I know of. I mean, I can't. The only thing I can think of is he had like, if my guess would be like a crappy holster that somehow got into the trigger guard,
or no holster.
No holster. But even there has to be no holster, but there has to be something significant getting in there because you have a lot of weight to overcome to complete that trigger stroke.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about, I remember hearing a story about a guy who was carrying a Makarov in a knockoff Thunderwear. So that's kind of an early appendix holster that's worn. The holster itself you wear around your waist, and you wear it in between your pants and your underwear. And it's kind of an appendix style holster. And the idea is it sits below the waistband of your pants. And so you would pull your pants away, reach in and do it. Like I've actually seen a bunch of people that like that, like when they like if they wear something to the gym or things like that, where they're wearing just baggy shorts. But his was a cheap one, and he was specifically stating that it was cheaper was it was the thickness of the fabric. It's a nylon holster. The thickness of the nylon was considerably thinner than the Truth underwears. And what happened was he was walking his dog and he bent over for something, and his pants creased, and the crease ended up pressing into the holster, into the trigger guard, and went through. And when you think about it, like if you're bending over or picking something up or all that, I mean, you're pulling your body weight. If you're moving around a lawnmower or all that, you're going to be moving 30 pounds, no problem. Even my Radom P64 doesn't have a 30-pound trigger.
Right.
So even though it may be a long, heavy double action trigger pull, if something jams into it, and it could be as something as, as crazy as like, pulling a piece of brush and the branch got stuck into it. I don't know. I mean, I need to know more about it. I bet he has a theory on what happened.
Well, in none of the articles I just pulled up a bunch of them, and none of them are specific about exactly what happened. So my assumption is probably either no holster or a poor holster.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, suggestion,
good holster.
Gonna carry a revolver while you're mowing your lawn, maybe a chest holster, one of those tanker type things.
Ooh,
just a thought.
Or just a good pocket holster or belt holster. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't. I think the key example is I think he must not have been carrying it in a good holster. I remember my next door neighbor's kid. He was talking about like oh man, when I'm out riding my motorcycle, I just have my, my 38 in my pocket. And he goes, but boy, I mean, with the wind on it, and if it gets a little bit wet, boy, it prints like crazy. And I'm like, well, you're wearing a holster with it, right? No. And I just switched over from my, I had an Uncle Mike's holster when I first started carrying my 642, and I upgraded to the DeSantis Nemesis. And I said, look, went downstairs, grabbed that Uncle Mike's, grabbed it, brought it up to him and said, here, take this. Just take it. Yes. Don't ever do that ever again. Always wear a holster.
Walmart now carries all of the different flavors of the Uncle Mike's. I don't know if they're Uncle Mike specifically branded, but they are the Uncle Mike's. I think they may be Blackhawk, but they are the Uncle Mike style of pocket holsters with the proper material. There is no excuse for you to carry in your pocket without a holster now, because they are about $6 to $9.
Oh yeah.
And if you can afford a box of ammo for the gun or the gun itself, then you can at least afford that holster at Walmart. It may not be the Nemesis because I love the Nemesis. That's the one I recommend to everyone. Mm-hmm. It's a $20 and it will last you God knows how long.
Oh, mine's I literally upgraded to that Nemesis for this 642, and then I upgraded the 642 to the LCR, and like literally until I got my PM45, like if I was not carrying a 1911, or if I was carrying a 1911, I was carrying a backup gun. It was a gun in this Nemesis holster, and this thing is doing just fine. And I have a Nemesis for my PM45, and you've got the Nemesis for yours.
If you feel like you can't get a Nemesis or you can't afford it, go get the Uncle Mike's. Just do not carry without a holster.
Yep. It is not as good a holster. It is of a lower quality than those, but where the quality, where the corners have been cut for quality, have not been anywhere in safety. It is as safe a holster as the DeSantis.
That's right. So I have a feeling wrapping that one up, that's probably the issue.
Mm-hmm. So either that, or it could be a non-drop safe gun, but I find that hard to believe. But if your gun is not drop safe, then then in theory, like especially if it was like a gun with an exposed hammer, it doesn't take much of a bump. Like it doesn't even need to be dropped. Like it could just be you bumping up against a door frame or swinging your leg up over a riding mower or something like that, and it bumps on something, and that's enough to touch it off.
Or could he have been carrying some old single action and not, loaded one and skipped one? Who knows?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
probably
definitely.
not, but
Just yeah, make sure your revolver is drop safe. Most of the modern ones, including most of the modern single actions, are drop safe, but make sure, and then call the manufacturer. Just call up their number and be like, "Hi, I own your model XYZ. Is it a drop safe gun?" And they will tell you.
the one thing you should read the owner's manual on, a gun.
Mm.
So,
I'm guilty of not doing that though.
me too. Listener Skylar, episode suggestions. Weird. I'll let you read this one, Weird, actually. This one's for you.
Okay, let me go through. Let's see. Episode suggestions. Hi guys, I'm a loyal listener of the podcast and I have a suggestion for a main topic. CNR licenses. How to get one? Are they worth it? How difficult are they to maintain? Why doesn't Ryan has his yet? If nothing else, I hope this gets weird to start asking about every other episode. I get so many positive feedbacks from people who laugh their tail off every time I razz you about not having your CNR.
Do they realize that because they keep razzing me about it, I am not going to get it because it's just like the best comedy
you own
through
a
line?
house now, dude. Get that thing and empty your bank account. And look up what's. Do you know the episode number for where we talked about the CNR?
I'll look that up here.
I think I mentioned a few shows back that I got the my renewal.
172. Oh no. Oh, we did a gun guy radio, I think. Yes, we did not do a handgun radio.
Oh. Well, then we'll do it. We'll queue that up for a night when we're too lazy to do something else, and we'll just read.
Yeah, no, we did a gun guy. It's Gun Guy Radio 172. That's still on the network.
Mm-hmm.
You can check that out there, but we have not done a handgun radio on that.
Okay, well then that is a future topic because we might as well do it for handgun radio. That'll be easy for one of those nights when we got the don't want us.
Well, thank you for that email, and then
I just got my renewal recently, and like how easy is it to maintain? Insanely easy. Like the ATF, like I'm due to renew my Massachusetts permit, which is also my permit to own, and that one I got to do everything. Like I know that because I looked in my wallet and saw that, oh, my permit's coming up and it's my birthday's in January and that's the expiration date is on your birthday. And so I start the process in November. So when November comes around, I'm going to go waddle on down to my police department. I screwed something up last year and it took longer than it should have. I missed some step. So I'm just going to waddle over there and talk to the officer. I'm like, all right, what do I got to do again? This. Gotcha. Here's the form. Here's my check. What do I do next? When do I come back? And go through that. With the ATF, literally, like don't even need to pay attention. Just one day you will get a letter from the ATF and says your FFL is due to expire. Send us $30 and fill out this form. And the only thing extra you have to do is go to your bound book and fill out what you've brought in and what you haven't brought in. And for me, it was not over the last 3 years. I have done nothing with my CNR. Thank you, Mara Healy, because she has scared the daylights out of everybody. And so gun companies will not ship handguns to CNR FFLs. So I used to send it to my buddy Wally when he was up in Maine and be like, all right, cool, ship them to Wally. And then I'll go over and grab them in Maine from Wally because he'll give them to me because he knows he's not breaking any rules and all that. But Wally's now in Arizona, so all these cool handguns. I want to get one of those Star Bs like so bad, but I'm just like, what am I gonna do?
Up here in Maine, we don't have to like have a license to own guns or anything. Like
Uh,
my eyes open every morning, the sun shines upon my face, and I realize all my guns are legal, and I don't
a-
have a license to own them.
and yet you still don't have a CNR.
Ah, damn it! I thought that like that would kind of outweigh that.
Oh, no, no, no. Nope.
Oh. Well, listener Mike here, he has something to say about Taurus.
Let's hear about Taurus.
Daniel, I hope you're still listening. He enjoyed the show on Taurus.
I think everybody enjoyed the show.
Everybody did, yeah. The next guy, the last listener email we have, also did. But he says, my first carry gun was a Taurus PT-111. Even bought a 24/7. I remember seeing magazine articles about that gun.
The 24/7.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I'm looking up what the PT-111 is.
Someone made a joke you'd be on customer service line 24/7 with it. The PT-111 would not shoot a full magazine without a misfire.
Okay, that's the Millennium.
Yeah,
that's what I remember it as.
Took him 10 months to get the last one back. What a lack of customer service. I doubt I would ever purchase a Taurus again.
A friend of mine's boyfriend had a Taurus Millennium 45, if I remember correctly, as his carry gun. He lived up in Alaska, and the frame cracked. So he had to. I didn't remember what happened. I think it was just one of those. He was getting ready to send it back to Miami.
Telling Daniel more requests coming up in the next email.
I'll read the next one. All right, this one is from Mark. Subject: the Taurus program. I don't own any Taurus products, but the show is pretty incredible. I'd like to see similar shows about other manufacturers. So would I. Oh, like Sig Sauer.
Drum roll, please.
Yeah, you would like to see Sig Sauer, Steyr, FB Radom, Zastava, CZ, FEG, Star, Para Ordnance. Ooh, can we kick that to the top of the line? Heckler and
let's get Grant Cunningham on for a little Para Ordnance hate episode, since they don't exist anymore, except it's a Remington byproduct.
Well, I think that would be there's ups and downs to the Para story.
Yes.
Heckler and Koch, Nambu, Lottie, etc. Do you own any guns by etc.?
I know. I wish
they make a good 1911 clone.
I think we would probably like group the I don't know. Let's do kind of like a commie guns episode, so to speak.
Oh,
right. Well, no. Eastern European, maybe.
Yeah.
Radom, Zastava, CZ, FEG.
Yep.
Can
we call Star commie guns? No, because communists never took over. It's in the Spanish Civil War. They tried.
It's not 1936. Weird. Was it 1936 when that happened?
Somewhere around there. You're within 5 or 6 years.
Close enough. But yeah, that would be fantastic. Sig Sauer. Oh my god.
Well, that we could start all the way back with like J.P. Sauer and Sons.
Yeah.
And was there a Sig before they merged with Sauer?
I don't know. Ask Daniel.
Because it was that's like Swiss Military Industries. I don't know. Oh, and for weird, I haven't found a bartender anywhere that can make a Sazerac.
And Daniel gives us good news for Taurus. Taurus will surely go bankrupt in the near future. The third quarter financial results will be out next month, but they're already deep in the red from the second quarter.
Oh.
I'm gonna sell him. Yeah, Sig existed. That's what he said.
I gotta say for Taurus though, like Taurus going bankrupt, that would be right there with Remington, or actually it would be more so than Remington or Colt. Like Colt, I'm kind of amazed every time Colt goes bankrupt that they keep bouncing back up, because the only thing you can really buy is their trademark, because they really don't have a whole lot of IP right now that hasn't gone into the public domain. The 1911s, I guess maybe the revolvers, I don't know, but Taurus has a huge amount of IP. Um, Kind of similar to the how many people copy what Keltec does. Keltec makes inexpensive guns. They're of, questionable quality. I'm not going to throw too much shade their way. I respect them as a company, though. I respect them as a company. They fit a niche, but a lot, like, they made what is it, the L3AT, and or the P3AT, P380, whatever you would call it. I see what you did there. And Ruger turned around when they could get, I think it was when the rights expired to it, because I don't think they were in any partnership with Keltec, but they turned around and turned it into the LCP and made a considerably better quality gun for slightly more price, but not that much more price. And unlike the Keltecs, where they're pretty hard to find when you're looking for one, the Ruger LCP is in every single gun in store that's not Massachusetts.
As Snarky calls it, a little copy pistol.
Yes.
I haven't heard that one before.
I like that little copy pistol. That's cute. That's really cute.
So we'll have to get with Daniel here on the Sig Sauer, Steyr, etc. episodes. I can't wait to hear the
think at the top of the list, Sig. But geez, that could be like a triple episode. Like, we would have to like
Para Ordnance. That's kind of like that's a tragic, one of those tragic plays. What do they call those?
Because like back in like the 80s, was it 80s or 90s, but whenever they first came out, when they were just the Canadian company that was just making kits, they weren't even making full guns, where like if you had a Para Ord 1911, like it would say Colt or Springfield on the slide, but then it would have that wide body frame to it. But like, people knew, and they were worth a lot of money because people were willing to pay a lot of money for them, because nobody else was doing what they were doing. And it went on from
all
there.
I've heard is, I mean, my impression as like a young kid seeing the advertisements in magazines and stuff, like, great conceptual ideas, but from what I've heard from people I trust, piss poor execution.
Actually, you want to talk about it? Actually, I was Greg Durr. I was in his shop getting my gun worked on, and I said, "Oh man, Greg, I've been looking at this Para Warthog. Oh man, I'm in love. I'm still in love with the Para Warthog. Like, I am still actually kind of upset that Remington has been rolling out to their Remington 1911 line a few of the SIG stuff. They've got their double stack magazines back, and I was expecting to see the Warthog come back, and just as like the Remington Warthog or whatever they want to call it, but because I absolutely love that gun. I
always loved the LDA action. I wish it was like better than it was.
Oh no, I don't. I never liked the LDA. The LDA is an
I didn't grow up on single action, so I like the look of a 1911 with the LDA. Sorry.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to disagree on that one. I despise the LDA, but and so does Remington. It's never coming back. I talked to a rep with them, and it's just like, yeah, no, the LDA is never coming back.
It didn't work.
It was lousy. It was lousy. And again, they were clodging that onto a standard 1911. The closest I've got is, for a brief moment, Colt was coming out with their new Agent pistol that was a 9mm Commander 1911 that was that had a double action trigger pull, really nice double action trigger pull. And the LDA had a really nice trigger pull too. I'll say a lot of things about not liking him. The trigger pull was ridiculous on the LDA.
Yeah, it was so light that it wouldn't set the damn round off.
Well,
from what I understood,
there's that. And if you don't properly reset the trigger, it completely bricks the gun. That was the big thing that a lot of people were like, never again, is if you pulled the trigger to an LDA all the way back and then tried to ride the reset like you were shooting a Glock, and you pulled it a little early, which you could do with a Glock, which I've done a million times with my M&P, because the reset is like non-existent. You got to completely come off it like a revolver, because even though there is a reset in there somewhere, you're not gonna consistently feel it. But for those guns, if you pull it too early, the trigger just mashes back and it's dead. And all you got to do is just let it out again and it goes. With the LDAs, if you mash it back again after partially resetting it, it's not going to ever reset itself again. The only way to reset it is to rack the slide. So that's a big problem. That is a big problem. But like I said, the Warthog, a 10+1 45 ACP. That's the size of a Colt Defender. It's like a little bit bigger than a J frame. Oh my God. It's fat, but not too bad because they put super duper slimline grips on them. Actually, the later para ords, the early para ords. Have you ever held one of like the early para ords? A gun shop had one, and it had the original, like,
I held a P14.
Yeah, with the standard 1911 stocks on it.
Yeah, I don't know what it had on. It was a 14 round magazine, I think.
Yeah, but I found at a gun shop that had and this was years ago, an original P14. I think it had a Colt slide on it and a Canadian para ord frame, 14 round 45 ACP. So it was a 5-inch 1911 14 round magazine, and it had standard GI grips on the side. It might have even been the original Colt grips on the side, and it literally felt like holding a wiffle ball bat backwards. It was just so fat.
God.
So, but they made really, really cool things. But I said to Greg Durr, I said, I really like that Warthog. I think I kind of want to get one as like a backup gun or a light carry gun. And he looked at me and said, don't. And it was just because of all of the goofy parts that they had, like their power extractor and just a few odds and ends. He just said there's just some weird parts in there, and when they break, you're buying them from Para Ord, and it's not worth your trouble.
We got to get that episode going with Daniel.
Yep.
That'll be a good one. We got a bunch there to go. So, anything else before we wrap up, Weird?
Mark, go on the YouTube channel and find me making the Sazerac, or just go look in YouTube and find some Sazerac things, and then teach your bartenders.
Make a business card with the link on it.
Yeah, man. Just
or one of those QR codes to the video and just hand it to the bartenders.
Yeah. Or again, you got to find a cocktail bar. It could be one of those bars where the bartender's really, really good at pouring a beer.
Yeah, I'm really good at pouring whiskey into a glass with a piece of ice. That's about it.
Yep.
Excellent. So with that, we'll head into the wrap-up section and close out the show. Don't forget to shop Brownells using our affiliate link. Head to firearmsradio.tv and click the affiliate link in the upper right-hand corner. Be sure to go like Handgun Radio on Facebook and share it with your friends, and leave us a review on iTunes. Listen to all the great shows on the Firearms Radio Network, and be sure to check out the Firearms Radio Network on YouTube. Weird, thank you very much for coming on the show, and where can people find you?
Well, you can find me at my blog, which is weirdworld.com, or also my podcast, which is the Assorted Calibers Podcast.
We got links there in the show notes. Your show been going good over there?
It's been going awesome. It's been going really, really well. I've got a bunch of interviews and stuff, like I said, that I'm throwing too. We got a whole ton of bonus content for our patron group, which is a whole lot of fun. Like I'm really liking having a Patreon page.
Yeah, it's from what I hear, it's really nice. So be sure to go check that out, and also check out the Facebook group. Weird, again, thank you very, very much for coming on the show.
Oh, it's so much fun, man.
And we'll have to get with Daniel here very soon.
And you'll have to get a CNR.
Yeah, there it is. All right, so until next week, have fun and safe shooting.